What is going on, Cyber Fam? Looks like I finally did it. I finally became a sellout bitch. Which is, I'm going to make a video about inflation and what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think it's about that time, guys. But anyway, before we get started, a lot of subscribers lately, really appreciate you voting with that subscribe button. If you like my videos, give me a quick like, or if you don't, I don't care, it doesn't matter. But more importantly, I'd like to know your views on stuff, so feel free to hit me up in the comment section below and let's discuss there. Anyway, moving on to our main topic of discussion, inflation, and what I'm going to do for that, or what I'm planning to do to counter that, or not lose money, I guess, is just really what I'm trying to say. I'm only doing two things. I'm going to give it to you right now. You ready? Ready? I'm still buying Tesla and Palantir. That's it. That's it. Like, most people come up with all these elaborate plans to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do all these different things, and the most common strategy is to like spread out your shit, so it's like, more things are shitty. So if you lose, you only lose some of your shit, right? But that's the strategy. I mean, it could work, right? But again, I'm just lucky enough to be invested in Tesla and Palantir. Both these companies are very good in terms of so far hedging for inflation. Now let's put something into perspective here. When you're talking about inflationary times, you're not talking about a time when, like, say for example, I'm right, okay? If I'm right during inflation times, it's not like I'm going to be way over you in terms of gains or anything like that. The truth is, we're all probably going to lose money, but usually inflation hedges that serve a good purpose lose a little less, right? To a point where when the initial tapering period finishes, they'll start turning a profit again. Not profit, but turning, like, going green again, right? That's really the goal, okay? Now, why am I invested in these two companies? To be very honest with you, I do have other stuff as well. Like, I have some crypto. I have I sold a lot of gold before, but anyway, mostly crypto. I have some crypto. I have some like art pieces through some like company that I'm trying out. So all this kind of stuff is there, but majority of my money, like say for example, I got a whole bunch of money now, right? Which hopefully will happen in the next few months. It's going to go towards number one Tesla, number two Palantir, 100%. That's just how it is. That's just how I'm going to do it. And I'll tell you why. Okay. So the reason why is because actually Palantir and Tesla are more similar than you think it is from a business operations perspective. Both companies have paid off large sums of debt. In the case of Palantir, I think they paid off almost all their debt. People are like giving them shit for it, right? They were like, oh, why is Alex Karp and his team like paying off so much debt? The debt is so cheap right now. Tesla also recently got rated like AAA for debt. So even if they needed to borrow money, they could very easily do that at very low rates compared to the others. Inflation, guys, okay? And before we do that, actually, let me answer that question. They paid it off because I think they're anticipating times of higher interest. So that dovetails into the next point. Inflation, guys, all it is, right, is the Fed or whatever, whoever, basically there's more money now than before. Okay, so if there was all in all $100 and you had $1, you would have $1 over $100, right? But in inflationary times, they would have printed more money. So let's say they printed another $100. Now you have one out of $200. So you effectively have half the buying power as you did before. That's all inflation is, if you boil it down to it, right? Whether it's transitory or not, who gives a shit? Either way, you have to prepare for it, okay? So the best thing you can do, and this is what all of these crazy people on YouTube with all of these different, theories and stuff are talking about, diversifying, all this other stuff. Just buy a company that has good demand, okay? Because during inflationary times, what happens is everything gets more expensive. All the raw materials get more expensive, so that all these companies that need to do stuff, it becomes more expensive. They have to buy it at a higher price, right? So a lot of companies use this time right now where debt is cheap to do all sorts of stuff. But what happens is when you get too far into debt and rates rise, they have to counter that. They're basically going from borrowing like money for super cheap to now paying a very high interest on it. So that, in combination with the fact that everything is expensive and all the raw materials that they use to make their products are expensive, they can do either of two things. They can either eat some of the cost and try to keep your price that you're buying the product as the same, or, and that's very rarely happens, but this is the next one that happens a lot, which is they'll just extend you the cost. So all of a sudden, everything will go up in price, right? Meat will go up in price, iPhones will go up in price. Whatever it is will go up in price. And that's inflation, guys, in a nutshell, right? Is that the best explanation? 100% no. There's other stuff to it, but I want to keep this video short. Now, with Tesla and Palantir is good because it's a SaaS company. They've already borrowed a ton of money. They have a generally good infrastructure, so if they need to scale, they can do that already. They're very good experts in that as well, so I'm not too worried about that. They're very positive in terms of like how much cash flow they're generating quarter to quarter. I see growth in quarter to quarter, and it's SaaS, so the operation is fairly cheap. The R&D is pretty expensive, but you know, we'll see how they react. But at the end of the day, it's a decent cash flow generating company. Tesla is a cash flow generating behemoth. Like I don't know. I think Elon had I don't know if he saw this stuff coming, but he definitely he planned the scale ahead of time, right? There's a Berlin factory coming, Texas factory coming, Shanghai is already done. It's already ramping at this point to the next phase. So they tried to use previous money, right? So the non-inflated money to get to their scale. So now when their stuff actually comes in next year, they would have had no debt, right? So they're not paying high levels of interest as well. Their other stuff is ramping like crazy. So it's like a win-win. So these companies, you know, and when these things start tapering, right? Jerome Powell, by the way, if you guys are familiar with the situation, Jerome Powell got reelected to be the chairman of the board, of the Fed. And the thing is, what's going to happen now is he's just going to either continue the same thing, but most likely he's just going to start tapering, which means starting to slowly increase interest rates, right? This is going to happen gradually, but the thing is, when this happens, all companies will go down, right? Just like when the high tide floats all boats, the low tide sinks all boats, right? It's the same thing. But the thing is, Tesla and Palantir will have a faster recovery, in my opinion, right? Just because of the stuff that I mentioned to you. I'm still looking to more details as to what other things I could do, or even just why Tesla and Palantir could be better options. But if you just look at their balance sheet, they're very good. They're very well positioned for inflationary times. So I'm pretty happy being their investor. If I like I said, if I had money, I don't know where else I would put it. Maybe Bitcoin, but for the most part, I would just go into Tesla and Palantir. So that's what I'm doing, guys. I mean, let me know what you think. If I'm wrong, feel free to let me know. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't care. But more importantly, chat with me in the comment section below, man. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's all get rich together. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.